This is the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Apparently I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. I just let out a long breath, folks. It was great. It was fun. It was like I was getting ready for the show, and I did this. I went... And it was longer than that. I will spare you. But it's like, because I have lung capacity, folks. I have a lot of air in my lungs. I'm a blowhard, I think is what we're all saying. If the show was in the 50s, it would be the 40-year-old blowhard. That's what it would be. And of course, if this show was in the 50s, no one would ever hear it. Where the fuck would you hear it? I'd be sitting in some vice club in San Francisco in the back room just talking in circles. And yes, that's stuck in my brain. It's funny, Lily she just gave me a dirty look. Because we were just talking about San Francisco, and apparently they're banning entertainment in San Francisco. So that's it. Done. It's a dry city. No more laughs. No more fun. I don't know if it's no more fun, but she said that they're banning entertainment. Is that what you said?
The Entertainment Commission is meeting with local people to determine.
Why is there an Entertainment Commission? Does that make any sense whatsoever? Who is on? See, that's what I would want to be. I would expect you would walk into the Entertainment Commission and you would look, and there would be a mime and a clown. It would just be like this huge council of elders. The Entertainment Commission, just a busker with a hat in front of him wanting change. God damn it, that would be great to have the Entertainment Commission be like that. It'd be like a Super Friends. They'd be like a Super Friends of deciding what you could like and what you couldn't like. Although if a mime and a clown are on there, quite frankly, I'm fucking out of that Entertainment Commission. I want nothing to do with it. And I don't know what causes the mime is championing, but I got to admit they're probably never going to get passed because fuck, he can't say anything. Sure enough, they cede the floor to the mime. He gets up, he walks against the wind for 5 seconds, and they boo him and make him sit down. They hit the gavel, have a seat, mime. That's what I would call a mime. I don't care if he has a name. Fuck mimes. They don't get a name. Whatever. All right. Folks, it's exciting to be here. You know what? Every week we try to pick a name. Exactly. I have nothing to say. That's when I have nothing is when when I go to that phrase. We have nothing to. What was I going to say? Oh, we'll listen to the show. Well, I'll do the show every week, folks. And unfortunately, we won't get it in San Francisco anymore. But everybody else, although, quite frankly, is this really entertainment? Let's be honest with ourselves. I don't think. Actually, in 10 years, the Entertainment Commission will just be gay guys in headsets. That's literally. That's what it is in Entertainment Commission. Because podcasting is a gay enterprise, and they'll just that's it. The Entertainment Commission will all be just gay men in headphones. All right. So what I'm saying now is that's what we have in the podcasting world now, but eventually, within 10 years, it will be socially accepted and they'll be on the Podcast Commission, the Entertainment Commission. Fuck, it's hard to get. I get it mixed up because podcasting and entertainment are so easily interchanged. Unfortunately, not this one. All right, and it's it's this kind of jackassery that leads the show to be an hour and 40 minutes fucking long. I can tell you that. Last week's show, fucking hysterical. I'm not going to lie to you folks. It was hysterical. I listened to it from beginning to end. That's how I like to do it because it makes no sense to jump in the middle. That doesn't make any sense at all to anybody. I like to start at the start and end right at the end. That's how I do it because, again, that's why they're called start and end. If you're ever confused on how to listen to something, you go, well, fuck, where would I start? Boom, the start, done. Start it, listen all the way through to the end, and then when the end is over, it's over, really. You could restart it then at that point if you wanted. Again, this is why the show is an hour and 40 minutes long. Last week's show, long, funny, really funny, but long. Longer. I saw 2 movies last week, folks. My show longer than both of them. I saw Zombieland and I saw Paranormal Activity. And why are you rooting for Zombieland? It was I liked Zombieland. I thought it was good. I actually enjoyed it. I wanted it to be more, I guess. There was more. What I'm not going to. I'll spare you, folks. I expected a lot. That's why. But I will say there's great stuff in it that I can't talk about. So go see it. Go see Zombieland. And Paranormal Activity is the kind of movie I was telling Lily because Lily's asking me about it. And we went and saw it last. I did the podcast Wednesday, and then I actually went Wednesday night last week. And Paranormal Activity is the kind of movie that I either can't talk about at all or I have to tell you every single thing that fucking happened. So I'm going to have to avoid discussing it right now, but I will tell you that go see it so we can talk about it, folks. How does that grab you? Go see Paranormal Activity so you and I can have a dialogue about it. And by a dialogue, I mean I will talk into a microphone, and then you will send me an email 4 days later telling me I'm stupid. All right. That's not much of a dialogue, but still, I would go see it. I would recommend that you see it. You have to see Paranormal Activity because, honestly, everyone is going to see it. It's going to be that kind of movie where everyone in the world will have seen it, and if you haven't seen it, how are you going to talk about it with your friends and neighbors? Do you discuss scary films with your neighbors? Does that happen often? You can go next door. Hey, Mildred, I saw Saw 6 last night. Want to talk about it? No. Nobody talks to their neighbors. I don't talk to my neighbors at all. Unfortunately, my neighbor. All right. We're well equipped and we know all about my building. The people who started, there was a SWAT team that removed a pair of them, but everybody else is still intact. And Lou, who lives next door to me, the racist bartender, is, I guess, turning over a new leaf because Lou is now a Buddhist. Yes, he is. Because Lou, I did not know this until I heard the chanting coming out of his house. And I used to hear other noises. Like he was banging this chick for a long time who was really loud and crazy. It was like Kim Cattrall from Porky's Crazy. But now she's been gone for a few months because I don't know if he's cleansing himself to be accepted by who runs Buddha? Gandhi? He doesn't run it, does he? Buddha. Buddha runs it. All right. So Gandhi's he's not Buddhist. Is he?
Yes.
He's Buddhist? All right. Well, he hasn't been at my apartment complex, I can tell you that. In spirit only. So, first of all, he put a Buddha in the yard. Like we have a courtyard. And now it's like there's bird seed, and my wife planted a tree, and now there's a Buddha just stuck in the dirt. And and it's a big one. Like it's, he's about a foot tall and he's fat. And I saw it, and I just thought it was a decoration because we also have other statues. But I guess, I don't know if it's to prevent evil non-Buddhist spirits from coming into Lou's house. I don't fucking know. All I know is there's now a Buddha statue. And then I heard the chanting. And his chanting, like the only chanting that I recognize is Tina Turner's from What's Love Got to Do with It? In the movie, Angela Bassett played Tina Turner. And after Ike beat the shit out of her for the final time, she ran across the highway and checked into a Marriott, and they let her in free. And now she forever is in their debt. And then she became a Buddhist and started chanting, Namo Nyo Renge Kyo. Namo Nyo Renge Kyo. I don't know what it is. But she said it. But when she chanted it, you could hear what she was saying. You could actually understand the Namo Nyo Renge Kyo, Namo Nyo Renge Kyo. Lou, he sounds like he's got a cat caught in a wood chipper. I mean, it's just like, he's like, that's his chanting. And I mean, I don't know how long they're supposed to do it, but he'll do it for 10 minutes straight. Like, I don't know how he's breathing. Do they teach you a Buddha breath? Like, do you breathe in through your nose while you're fucking chanting? I mean, I have no idea how he does it, but it's literally, I can hear everything through his walls. I mean, I can hear the guy, unfortunately, flushing a toilet. I can hear him turning his television on really loud and listening to Fox News and, yelling in agreement. I mean, I hear all that kind of stuff. But now to hear, I mean, it sounds like he's blowing a didgeridoo in that fucking house. I mean, I in honor of Buddha, it's a didgeridoo. That's what it might be, or a Buddha-doo. He's blowing a Buddha-doo in there. That's what he's doing. It's stunning to me. But then so he's, like I said, he's reinventing himself as a Buddhist, and he walks out of his house the other day. He's dyed his hair black. He's like an old man who's got like kind of thinning hair on top. Not an old man. He's my age, probably. He might be a little older than me. He might be like 47. But he dyed his hair like jet black. Like he walked out. It was so creepy looking. He looked like a henchman in a Mexican mafia movie. He just walked out because I think he dyed his mustache too. I was trying to place it. There was something wrong. And I saw his head and I was like, oh no. You ever see those commercials for the Just for Men dye when like Emmett Smith has a gray beard and he's in a hospital bed and they're making fun of him, and then all of a sudden he colors his beard and now he's vital again? I don't know if Lou saw that and went, yeah, that's for me. That's what I got to do. New leaf, Buddha, dye the hair. Or maybe when you become a Buddhist, you have to dye your hair. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like a deal where to be in the club, you've got to appear more young, because Buddha is very concerned with demographics. All right. I don't know. All I know is, and quite frankly, maybe he wasn't chanting. Maybe that was a painful noise he made as he was dyeing his hair because it was like burning his scalp. Maybe he went to dye his hair and he was like, meow, 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 meow. Maybe it burned so bad. I don't know how that stuff works, folks, because I have not had to dye my hair yet. Eventually I will. But I'm going to go blonde. I'm going to go crazy blonde. I dyed my hair once when I was a kid. Not when I was a kid. I was like 30. You're the stupidest man alive. In 1990, was it 5 or 6 when the Bulls got Rodman? Did I tell this story? The Bulls got Dennis Rodman, and I had crazy hair, folks. I had the kind of hair. Here's what I had. On the sides and the back of my hair, it was gone. It was shaved to the skin. All right, all the way around, and on the top of my head, my hair was about, I would say, 7 inches long.
Jesus.
Like, and so I would pile it up under a hat when I would do stand up, but then I would take off my hat, after the show. I wouldn't do it on stage because I didn't have a haircut for a joke. I wanted my hair like this. So I took my hair off, and it was like it would all fall, and it would cover the sides of my head. So you couldn't really see that I was bald unless I pulled my hair back, and then you would see it was shaved to the skin all the way around. So my hair was really long. Like I said, it was about 7 inches long, maybe 7 or 8. I don't know. It was long. It would go past my ears when it would fall. And and then when the Bulls got Dennis Rodman, I'm stupid, and I was like, you know what? In honor of Dennis Rodman, I'm dyeing my hair blonde. I'm going to fucking, because he was crazy and he would dye his hair all the time. So I'm like, fuck it. I got enough hair. Let's do this. So at the time I was working at a pizza joint, and I walked next door, and Kelly was, it's funny because there's a hot Kelly now who cuts hair that Karen and I always joke about. But back then Kelly was another girl who used to come in for lunch all the time at the pizza joint. And I go, hey, I'm going to dye my hair. And she's like, seriously? Because then I imagine it's like if a straight guy walked into a gay bar and said, you know what, I'm ready to jump the fence. Every gay guy's like, thank God. And they immediately want to glom onto him. Like it's like rough trade, or I have no idea how it works. All I know is I would imagine, because I was like just a dude who watched him a salon, and I'm like, yeah, let's dye my hair. Because every chick was just like, oh my God, let's do this. So you immediately become their project for the afternoon. And I'm going to tell you folks, I wasn't going to dye all of my hair. I just wanted to dye the tips blonde. Because my hair was brown, and then I was going to get, this is before frosting and all that other, well, no, that still existed, but it wasn't like a thing. Because this is 96, again, folks. I'm way ahead of the curve on frosting your tips. So I wanted to get like about maybe 2 or 3 inches blonde all the way, on the end of my hair, and then the rest of my hair would be fine, would stay the same. So, but I sat down, and I respect anybody who goes in and does that and has the time to devote to it, because I'm sitting there and they're putting bleach on my hair and foil, and I felt like the monster in the Bugs Bunny cartoon when Bugs Bunny sits him down and he's filing his nails and he's making fun of him. I just felt so out of place sitting in a chair with a thing on and foil on my hair, and they're doing bleach, and they're like, oh, you meet such interesting people. Like, I'm waiting for them to file my nails. It's awful. I mean, it's just, I felt like the monster. There's the big orange, like hairy monster who, does anybody know that cartoon? All right, you do, because you're here and you're helping. Because I'm going nowhere, spinning my wheels in this fucking anecdote. But I sat there, and they said it's going to take a while. So I actually went to sleep, like in the fucking chair with foil on my head. And then I can imagine they're coming over and taking pictures of me, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. But I finally, they were like, oh, I go, how long? And they go, well, you know what? I would give it another hour and a half. I go, I'm done. Get me out of here. They're like, what? I go, I'm leaving. I'm finished. I can't sit here any longer. Take this off my head. So I made them take the foil off. And so essentially all it had done at this point was my hair was like dirty blonde. Like it wasn't even blonde. It was just like lighter, like much lighter, but not. It just looked terrible is what it looked. That's all it did. And it had the strength of straw. Like it felt like they turned the end of my head into a broom. That's all it felt like, So I walk out and I go home. And I'm waiting for Karen to come home from work because I can't wait for her to notice my horrible hair. Like I'm waiting for her to, I'm not even, because I didn't tell her I was going to do it. So she comes home from work, she walks in, she's like, hey, and I go, hi, and I give her a kiss, and then we're sitting there, and nothing. Doesn't say a fucking word about it. I mean, doesn't say a word about it. And I let, we make dinner, and then we're hanging out, and finally I say to her, you know what? I felt like a girl. Like the shoe was totally on the other foot, where like a woman gets her hair done and nobody notices, and you're like, oh. Well, that's who I was. I got my hair done, and not really. I sat in a chair with foil for 2 hours and nothing happened. But I came home and nothing. She didn't notice. And so finally, I had to do those lame hints like a lady does, and I'm just like, notice anything different about me today? And she's just like, no. And I said, oh. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm so sad. So finally I go, I did it. And she goes, what? Because I had told her I was going to do it, but I was joking, but I didn't. I go, look, I did it. I dyed my hair. Like I got it. And she puts her hand in my hair and she just goes, ooh, that's not good. And I go, I know, it feels weird, doesn't it? And she's like, oh, but it doesn't. Like, what did you do? Did you do it yourself? No, I didn't do it myself. She's like, but it doesn't, I mean, it just doesn't really look, because it didn't. There was no contrast. My hair was light brown, and then there was like a fadey part that turned lighter brown. I mean, I just didn't invest the time, because I had no, folks, I have ADD. I can't just fucking sit there with foil on my head and look stupid. Every time I looked in the mirror, I'm like, you look like an idiot. Go back to sleep. You know, it was terrible. So my wife just, she felt it, and then I went to work the next day, and nobody really noticed, and I was like, guys, I did the blonde thing because I had told them I was going to do it because I was going right next door, and they're like, "Wow, it really looks bad." Like even like the girls and the guy, everybody I worked with was just like, "It's terrible." So I think I think I kept it for like 2 weeks, and then finally I just went into Kelly and I go, "Cut it off, just cut it seriously, cut it all off." And so she had to go through and cut all of my hair off. I could spare 3 inches as opposed to now, but I mean, then sure enough, she whacked it all off. So and then it's so funny because I loved that haircut. I really loved it, and ever since then I've never been able to grow it back that way. For some reason, something's wrong with my head now, so it doesn't work. You know what's wrong with my head? I'm 42 years old. That's what it is. So I can't have a fucking skate cut. That's the problem. I can't cut my hair like a skateboarder anymore. You fucking dope. You're 42 years old. Grow up. Ugh. I actually tried to get that hairstyle back when Karen left me. I think I talked about that. Oh, it was so bad. Like I was like, I don't know if I was, because Karen liked that hair when I had it. So then I was like, well, maybe if I get my old haircut back, she'll come back to me, crying sad. And then grew my hair long, and then it was just like lifeless, like I was. It was terrible. Oh, it was a mistake. And nobody would tell me it was a mistake. Like nobody, I would hang out with Pardo and those guys, and they were just kind of, because they understood. I mean, you're my wife left. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do with myself. So you know what I was going to do? I was going to grow my hair back to what it looked like when I was 26. Oh, dummy. All right, so how did I spin off into me dyeing my hair? Lou, fucking racist bartender Lou, he dyes his hair. So but his is like jet black. His is noticeable. Like mine was just like, maybe you did something stupid. He's like, oh my Christ, are you in a mariachi band? What the fuck did you do to yourself? I mean, it's insane. It's jet black, and I think he dyed his, like I said, his mustache is dyed now. Oh, he just. He looks like he looks like a henchman who should be holding Will Smith in a chair. While he's finally infiltrated the hideout of El Guapo. I mean, it's just fucking terrible. So it looked crazy. And then he's a bartender, so he wears a bartender suit. So it's like white shirt, black vest, and then black hair. Again, he looks like he should be in a fucking mariachi band. All right, he needs a sombrero. So now he's a Buddhist, and he's got this crazy hair. And but here's my favorite thing that happens the other day. Okay, I can hear everything in his house. Okay, and I think I've mentioned that he has a temper, he freaks out. But now, luckily, the Buddhism is helping him with that. It's putting him, where he's able to go ahead and not get crazy angry, and I admire him for that, because I'm a guy who, has made a conscious decision not to get angry as like I used to for the past year, and it's sort of working, I guess. I mean, nobody's punched me, I haven't punched anybody, so good for me. But so Lou, I can hear him in his house, and he's doing the chant one day this past week, and he's like, he busts out the chant, and his phone rings. He's chanting. He ignores the phone, and then the phone rings again as he's chanting. He stops. I swear to God, this is exactly what I hear. Okay, it's like ring, ring, and he's just like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing calling me? I can't believe this is unbelievable. Do you want the fucking business to close? Who the fuck do you think you are? This is fucking crazy. I can't fucking believe it. Stop fucking calling me. Don't call me. Do you understand? Do not fucking call me again. Don't fucking call me. Wham! Right back into the chant. I love the fact that he checked out of Buddhism just to fucking crawl down some person's throat on the goddamn phone. Like, isn't Buddha, like, they're peaceful, right? Aren't they? They're supposed to be, and the chanting is supposed to center you so you don't get fucking angry. Well, dude, he just lost his fucking mind in the middle of the chant. Like, it wasn't even like, did he have to put Buddha on hold? Is there like a call waiting that he had to do? Where he's like, and he hears the ringing, he's like, fuck, and he has to hit a button, like a snooze. Like a Buddha snooze? What if there was a Buddha snooze and he had to fucking go ahead and do that, put his chant on hold, and then went and fucking crawled down somebody's fucking throat and then came back right into the goddamn chant? Unbelievable. That sounds like a religion I can get behind. If it centers you and it calms you down, but you can choose to have explosive anger anytime you want, that's fucking beautiful. I don't know how you pull that off, but Lou did it. It was fantastic.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and coming up, what the fuck happened to Kathleen Turner? In the spirit of the Sphinx, E.J. and Joaquin try to figure out one of mankind's greatest riddles.
You know, I was wondering if it's possible that it's like she was stung by like a bee and she's allergic, the way her face puffed up, you know?
Yeah?
Like maybe 3 bees all at the same time.
Maybe 3 bees carrying shrimp and peanuts.
Shrimp and oh, like she's allergic to
Yeah,
that?
allergic to all things. And then the bees stung her, and when she said ow, they dropped shrimp and peanuts in her mouth.
Yeah, but again, why would it stay for like all this time? It's not
I
like
don't know.
the swelling doesn't go down.
I also had heard that because they made that Land of the Lost movie.
Yeah.
The Crofts were going to make an H.R. Pufnstuf movie, and she wanted the role so bad she actually had plastic surgery to become like Pufnstuf.
Method acting.
To convince them, and I don't know if they're going through with the film, but she's certainly committed.
I did see that on E! You're right.
What the fuck happened to Kathleen Turner? You'll find out on What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Or was it TMZ?
So I'm in my house, folks, and the phone rings, and I'm screening calls like I always do. And by always, I mean always, folks. Literally. If you call me and I don't answer, there's a good chance I'm sitting there pointing at the phone and laughing. I can tell you that I am... Oh, my... All right, that was so weird. I saw this out of the corner of my eye, and I thought it was hanging from my head. There's like a bolt of purple fabric here, and I don't know why it caught me off guard, but I literally saw it in my peripheral vision, and I thought it was hanging from my headphones. And I will also say that I said the line about I pointed at the phone and I'm laughing, and Lily didn't laugh. So in my head I go, well, she didn't laugh, but that was kind of funny. But there must be something wrong with my head. What's wrong with my head? Purple fabric. I just had this weird. God, that was crazy. I distracted. No, you don't have to laugh at that. It's fine. It was just so strange that I saw that out of my corner of my eye. All right, forget it. Who cares? So I'm at my house and I'm screening calls, and because I have caller ID, which is a fantastic invention, right? We can all agree on that. Caller ID, where it puts the name of the person who you don't want to talk to, and you laugh again and point at the phone. Caller ID is amazing. TiVo is amazing. All these inventions. Do you do them? You experience these inventions and you go, man, how did we ever live our lives without them? I don't know. Like the internet. The internet itself is like, I don't know how I ever got along without the internet. I'm sitting in my house the other day and I'm like, man, I wonder what happened to Blossom. So I Googled Mayim Bialik. And within literally 2 minutes, I found Mayim Bialik is now a nut bar who has a kid that she won't give milk. I mean, like, she has this weird, crazy, that's her deal. Like, it was in People magazine just a couple weeks ago, I guess. And she is a mom who's raising her child to where she won't expose it to sunlight. I don't know. I didn't bother reading the story. All I know is I just wanted to know what she was doing, and suffice it to say, I was happy just to find out that she's insane. That's it. That's all I needed to know. I don't need to know what she's doing or she had a movie coming out. I just want to know that she's crazy, and she is. Boom. There you go. Blossom is crazy. Although I still don't know what happened to 6. All right. So I know more about that show than I care to. Joey Lawrence. That's just me saying names. Why would I do that? That's not funny at all to just say a name. All right, so I'm screening the calls in my house. But again, the inventions, it's like, watch a football game, all right? When you watch a football game now, they constantly have the score and the clock up so you know what's going on in the game. If you ever watch ESPN Classic or the NFL Network, they'll rerun an old football game. You'll turn it on, and it's Lord of the Flies. You don't know what the fuck is happening. There's just a football game going on. You don't know what the score is or what the clock says. You don't know what the down and distance are. You don't know a fucking thing about what's happening. All you know is Dick Enberg can't stop talking about how great the Steelers are. And you're like, Jesus Christ, what's happening in this game? Help me out. And then they'll put on that rudimentary scoreboard at the bottom. That we now have a telestrator that actually is neater than the old score graphics they used to use on football games. When a guy now draws a play and diagnoses it, or diagrams it, he doesn't diagnose a play. What is he, a fucking doctor of football? Yes, I have a doctorate in football. Hi. I majored in football. And quite frankly, any college football player has a doctorate in football because he doesn't give a fuck about classes. Seriously, he's on campus to play football and bone white girls. That's it. That's the whole reason a guy goes to fucking college to play football. That's it. That's his whole deal. He's waiting to get to the NFL. He's graduating to there. So he's going to bring his doctorate in football and go take somebody's head off. But when you watch old football games, like now, when a guy does the telestrator and he draws X's and lines and stuff, it's neater than the score graphics they used to use in the old days. All right, so I don't know. That point is neither here nor there. So anyway. I'm having trouble speaking today, folks. Already earlier when I was talking about paranormal activity, I said it like 9 times, but by the 9th time, literally I was just like blah, 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 and we had to cut it out. So I had to stop saying it so many times. And just now I had a blowout on college football. I said every college football blah 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 blah, and we cut that out. I'm having problems, folks. So I'm at the house. And I'm screening calls. And the phone rings. I look at because I'm getting ready to come do said podcast. I look on the screen. It says Zuffa Incorporated. Z-U-F-F-A. Now, folks, Zuffa is an Italian word that means scrap. And I know this because Zuffa is the parent company of the UFC. Calling my house because they still have not contacted me about the tickets. I see Zuffa. I grab the phone immediately. Ha Zuffa, hello. Nobody there. What? How does that happen? You let it ring. It rings twice and you hang up? I guess they have a lot of people to call over at Zuffa Inc. So I freak out. I'm like, no, that can't be happening. Really? So I jump in the shower to come over here. And when I get out of the shower, there's a message on the phone. And I listen. Hey, Mike. This is Gary from Dana White's office. Go ahead and give me a call back when you get a chance. Thanks. And he leaves his number. He never says anything about tickets. So that keeps me a little freaked out. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm like, I don't understand that. So I immediately call them back. I'm like, and I get a machine. And it's not even like a fancy, I thought it was like a fancy Zuffa machine and you hear punch noises and that'd be awesome. But instead it's just a regular old mailbox. It's just like, Gary is not available. So I leave Gary a message giving him my cell number and my home number. And here's what I do, folks, because I don't know if I told you this. I thought I was going to get 2 tickets to the fights because I know that the first people in line got 2 tickets. So when it came time for me to write my name, the guy Bobby said, you'll get 1 ticket. And I said, dude. I go, I had a friend coming. I mean, granted, I'll take 1 ticket, but I would rather have 2. So when I call Gary back, I've talked about this on previous shows. I have a Jedi mind trick that I use when I'll call somebody up. Like when I used to be working, when I had a job, real job, I would call up and one time I called in my hours. I told this story on another show, and I lied about my hours, but I slurred my words enough to where I gave myself 10 extra hours of pay, and they paid it, and it wasn't a problem for me. Certainly not, as I got 10 extra hours of pay. That's in year 1. Go ahead and buy it. So. This time I call up and I call Gary and I go, hi, Gary, this is Mike Schmidt returning your call. Here's my phone numbers. And I was calling about the pair of tickets that Dana White, I signed up for when I met him. So I'm sure that's what you're calling about. So why don't you go ahead and give me a call back? Click. Ha-ha, Jedi mind trick. Pair of tickets. Put it right in Gary's mind. So then I'm sitting there getting ready to leave. Phone rings again. Zuffa Inc. Well, podcast is going to get delayed as I speak with Zuffa. I pick it up. It's Gary. And Gary says, hey, I'm returning your call. I'm calling from Dana White's office. I wanted to call and tell you about how you can get your 2 tickets to UFC 104. Jedi mind trick accomplishes its task. So he and I have a nice chat, and I give him, and remember, do you think, I told you I left my phone number but not my email address. And I was worried because they were going to contact me through email with a voucher or whatever, and that's why I wound up twittering Dana White, and I'm an idiot, and I panicked. So he says to me, hey, I noticed you didn't leave an email address. I said, yeah, because unfortunately the woman above me on the list, she went ahead and kind of used both lines. He goes, okay, well, I need your email because we're going to send you a voucher, and it's got all the information you need to get your tickets, and you'll be at will call, and you need to bring in the thing we email you as well as a photo ID. So that's what happened. So I had to give him my email address and get squared away. And so now I have a pair of tickets to UFC 104, which is great. I'm very excited, except for the fact that I have no friends. I don't have one person who... I have one other person who likes the UFC. It's my friend Paul Gilmartin. And I know I'm going to say to him, dude, do you want to go to this? And either if he's not out of town or busy, if he's in town, he's going to say no. Because he doesn't want to go into a building with a bunch of drunks who are all hyped up and ready to fight. And I don't blame him, okay? It's going to see this show, I've got a feeling is going to be like walking into Thunderdome. Like I'm going to have to wear my Under Armour, and I'm going to have to be ready to Zuffa, quite frankly. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to have to be ready to scrap. So I'm fully cognizant of that fact, and I don't know where the seats are. I asked Gary, I said, because they had told us they were really good seats, and Gary's like, I don't know. He goes, all I know is I've got 3,000 people to call. So I don't know if that was all, I mean, obviously in LA, I said there was at least 1,000 when I was there, And then also he did Phoenix and New York that week. So, I mean, they're giving away a lot of tickets for this, which is great. And I'm very excited and I'm happy to be there. But he had no idea where the seats were going to be. So, I could be up in the nosebleeds or I could have really good seats. But again, it doesn't matter because I do not have a friend who's going to come to the goddamn show with me because I know Gil Martin's going to dust me. He's going to say no. I haven't called him yet. Maybe he'll be in, maybe he won't. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I have a sweepstakes and a listener to this show gets to go with me to the UFC. What if I do that? What could I possibly do? How could that work? Like if you can't, you'd have to come and pick me up, and you'd have to buy me a sushi dinner. I don't know. Maybe that'd work. I mean, I'm actually creating a date for myself. This is great. I kind of like this. This is like blind date, but in podcast form. And I'm obviously it's going to be a dude who's going to go with me because there's no woman who's going to want to go to the UFC, which is why I'm not bringing Karen. Like normally Karen's my fallback. I mean, I dragged Karen to Tool. Okay, I mean, go ahead. This is before she met Maynard and bought his wine. I dragged her to that, and she was very nice and patient and sat there and we got through it and we left. But when I don't have anybody to go with, then I'll have a second because that's the thing is she wants to go because she likes to experience these things. But then she'll get there and I'm like, you're miserable. Like you don't like this. She's like, no, I'm having a good time. It's just her good time is different than mine. You know what I mean? So whatever, that's fine. But I'm not dragging her to UFC because it's bad enough in the house. Like I'll be in the house watching Ultimate Fighter or something, and I go, dude, you got to see this, dude. And like my wife, dude, you got to see this. And some guy will get an elbow to the forehead, and a second mouth will open on his fucking face, and she'll just be like, oh, why are you showing me this? I can see that guy's orbital bone. And I'm like, aha, yes, exactly, right. That's what I like. And then she walks away and hates me. So I can't do that. So maybe I do a sweepstakes. No, I can't do that. That's stupid, right? That's just dumb. It doesn't make any sense. It's funny, but then who's gonna? Well, what can I make people do? Like I could make them. Oh Christ. Let's see. You got to buy me a sushi dinner. That's definitely in it. And you got to pick me up because I don't want to drive and you got to pay for parking. What am I doing? What if all this happens and I pick up the seats and I'm in the last row? These people would hate me.
Yeah, but they'd be with you.
They don't care. Nobody wants to be with me. Who wants to be with me? Absolutely nobody. But if you do, go ahead and enter the sweepstakes. I don't know what you have to do yet. Suffice it to say, you got to pick me up, you got to pay for parking, and you got to buy me a sushi dinner. There you go. If you want to do those things, I got a free ticket to UFC 104 with you. And bear in mind, this is all contingent on Paul Gilmartin saying no. I'm sure he's going to say no, but he's my first choice. Because as much as I enjoy you folks and I like sushi and I want you to drive me and pay for parking, that will be one awkward evening of sitting there trying to make small talk. That will be horrible, don't you think? You folks know me. You sort of know me, and I don't know you at all. That's the thing. What if I get someone who's even more of a maniac than me? They show up in their affliction shirt, and they're a sociopath, and they start getting drunk, and they're supposed to drive home. This sweepstakes is a terrible idea. It's off. I can't do that. I can't run the risk that some terrible fucking meathead is going to think that I'm going to back him up in a fight. I'm out. The sweepstakes is done. See what you did, folks? You talked yourselves out of it. But still, send your entry forms if you want. Anyway, that'd be funny. All right. What if I had that? That would be awful. I pimped myself out and took somebody to UFC 104. That's great. I'm going to bring Gil Martin. Whether he wants to go or not, I'm just going to hit him in the head with a club and drag him. Just throw him in my fucking car. He's going to wake up in his seat. Hey, guess what? Let's enjoy ourselves. Folks. So that's good news. I got 2 tickets. I just don't know who I'm going to share them with. All right. I had an audition this week. I'll tell you that. Here's how far my life has fallen, folks. I was watching television this past week, watching baseball. I don't know if you've heard, the Philadelphia Phillies have advanced into the National League Championship Series. Yeah, that's right. They're here in Los Angeles the next couple days. Will I be there? Maybe. Let's have a sweepstakes, folks. Who has 2 tickets to that and wants to bring me? Anyway, I watch on TBS. Coverage has been terrible. Whatever. I don't want to bore you with it. But the bottom line is they keep running an ad for erectile dysfunction. And also an ad for swollen prostate guy who needs to go to the bathroom all the time. Well, the guy starring in this commercial used to be one of the stars of LA Law. He was in the 80s, he was a big deal on the biggest show on television. He was one of the lawyers at LA Law, and I think he's the guy who was married to Jill Eikenberry, if that's her name, but I can't remember his name at all. But whatever, they were a real-life couple. He was the guy in the LA Law who supposedly came up with the Venus butterfly. Google all of this, folks. I'm an old man, all right? So I see this guy in the commercials, and I'm sitting there with Karen, and I go, boy, this is terrible for this guy. She goes, what do you mean? And I go, well, he was on LA Law, and now he's the pee guy. Like, he's the guy who can't hold his water. And she's like, what do you mean? And I go, well, this commercial is for a guy who's got a swollen prostate and has to keep going to the bathroom. And the commercial entails him talking literally to camera, saying he has a swollen prostate, and then clips of him walking to and from the bathroom. That's how far he's fallen. And granted, it's not Corbin Burnson far, but it's still far. Corbin he's making, what is he making? Dentist 9, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
But what the fuck do I care? Those guys are making money in acting. I can't make fun of them, folks. Really. You want to poke fun, but who fucking cares? Corbin Burnson makes movies. He's got a fucking house in Hawaii, I'm sure. He's fucking rich. I'm doing this. I'm begging for friends to take me to the goddamn UFC. Believe me, there's no parallel between me and those guys. Those guys are light years ahead of me. So I still felt a twinge of sadness for LA Law guy who now became the piss guy. Disappointing. 2 days later, I get a phone call from my agent. Hey, you got an audition. Call us back. So, and believe me, I would not have screened that call. I was not home. The second I would have seen that my talent agent come up, I would have grabbed the fucking phone. Yes, please, anything. What am I doing? But instead, I came home, heard the message, called them immediately. And here's what I auditioned for this week, folks. Diabetes guy. That's right. Apparently, it's a print campaign for a new drug that beats diabetes, and they were looking for people who, as they put it, they were looking for heroes. I'm assuming that meant they were looking for people who looked like they might have had diabetes. That's the only thing, because, I didn't wear a fucking cape to the audition, I can tell you that. And it's a print campaign, which is good because then I don't have to talk about diabetes, although I get to literally forever. Like there will be, I can't even imagine what the text will be. It'll just be my fat ass sitting there and it'll be like, have you gotten so fat your life is ruined by diabetes? And it's just like me sitting there eating a sandwich, staring at the camera. I don't know how they're going to fucking do this. But when I went into the audition, it was great. I mean, I went and looked like a normal person and they seemed responsive. The director said, oh, you have a great face. And I thought immediately of Burt Reynolds in Boogie Nights. That was the first thing I thought of when he's like, oh, is that a facha? When he grabs, Mark Wahlberg's face. And I wanted this guy to grab me and say, that's a facha. But instead, they made me fake dance. Because when I walked in, it said, will you be willing to dance on camera? And folks, I think we've already established that I can fucking dance. So I'm like, of course I'll dance. And then they made me mime dancing with my wife, like, holding her and doing that. And then I had to power walk. They made me walk. And they took photos the whole time because it's a print campaign. I don't know why you'd want photos of me walking or dancing. I mean, does anyone not look natural dancing in a photo? I mean, you'd really have to look terrible. Your dancing skills don't mean anything in a print ad, I don't think, unless it's like one of those print ads that when you flip it, it's a flip ad, and then you're kind of moving and twirling around the floor. Would that happen? I have no idea. Lily pointed out something, actually. She mentioned the fact that, because I forgot it was diabetes. Like, she's showing that because even though you have diabetes, you can still dance around. I guess it's like they're sending a message that even though you have diabetes, you can go ahead and still trip the light fantastic. Folks, even though your blood sugar is so out of control, you've lost 4 toes, still, you can go ahead and dance normally. That's what it is, with a big smile on your great facha. I don't know. So who knows what happens? They liked me. They seem to. And but then again, everybody audition likes me, and then I don't get anything. So who knows? We'll see. I will let you know, though, if I'm going to be diabetes guy. Let's all look forward to that. It's funny to even be diabetes guy because I usually go for fat guy stuff. When I was really crazy fat, that's what I went for, was fat guy stuff. And my first big job that I ever really got hired for out here, actually, it was after basketball. After basketball, I got hired by ABC. Like, they saw me, and they hired me for Monday Night Football promos. They were going to do a carnival theme. Like, you know how they do Hank Williams Jr. before the Monday Night Football thing, and he dances and sings and does his thing? Well, they also do, now that ESPN has it, they'll do a little, like a play or whatever. The theme that year was going to be a carnival. And they cast me and 2 other guys, and we were going to be on every week before Monday Night Football doing promos as fans. We were crazy fans at a carnival. And like one week, it was like, say the Steelers were playing the Bengals. We would show up at a whack-a-mole and Steeler hats would come up and we would be in Bengal outfits hitting them. That was the idea. Like every week we would do a vignette for every single game. So we went and we filmed the first 2 weeks. One of them, all I know is I was a Steelers fan. And I will tell you that, again, the first week, of course I had my shirt off. Why not? Let's get the big fat guy with his shirt off. And then they painted me like a Steelers fan. Like I had black eyes, like, on my face, and they painted the Steelers logo on my huge gut. I mean, it was just fucking monstrous, folks. It was horrible. Quite frankly, horrible. But it was amazing money, and it was going to be, like I said, 18 weeks, and I wouldn't have my shirt off all 18 weeks or whatever the fuck, or 16 weeks, and I would do a vignette every week, for every game. I was so excited about it. So the first week we're there, and there was like a dunk tank, and the thing is, I had to be in the dunk tank, and I had to talk shit. And so everybody would try to dunk me. And then I was in the dunk tank, and I was hysterical. I'm not going to lie to you folks. Essentially, all I had to do was make fun of everybody. And they literally filmed me in the dunk tank for like an hour and a half. I mean, just making fun of everyone as they walked by. And I would come out of the dunk tank, and the other actors would just be like, we don't want to even go in there because it's like, you are so good at it. They should let you keep doing it. And then unbelievably, they did. Like, that's why it took over an hour and a half, because they kept putting me in. Other guys would go in there and they were terrible, and they'd be like, all right, you're out. Mike, could you go back in there for us and do some coverage? And then I would just go in and be hysterical. So and then we walked around, and we filmed that vignette at the dunk tank, and then we went to film a vignette in the Salt and Pepper Shakers. And what it was it would be me and another guy, and we were both shirtless, and we were supposed to be talking about football, debating football, and we would walk and approach the Salt and Pepper Shakers, give the guy our tickets, get in, and then they would show the thing spinning, and we would still be talking football. Like, you would just hear us debating the game, and then it would end, and then they would let us out, and we'd just be like, so again, I don't think the Steelers can handle that defense, and we would walk away from the ride. So I was really excited for it, and we after the dunk tank, too, I'm riding high. Everybody loves me. I'm the greatest. And we go over to the Salt and Pepper Shakers, and we film all the coverage of us walking up. And, again, we're shirtless. It's horrible. But then we go to get into the Salt and Pepper Shakers. I don't fit in the Salt and Pepper Shakers. It was supposed to be me and the guy sharing one of them. He gets in, and I look at it, and I'm like, no way. I knew there was no way I was going to fit in it. So I go, and I just start to climb in. Even though I said to the director, I go, look, I'm not going to fit in that thing. He goes, it's okay. You know what? Let's just, if we can get you in, obviously you don't need to go and around. We'll figure out a way we'll cheat it. We'll figure it out. Didn't matter. I could not fit. I tried to get in, and the other actor, to his credit, like sidled. He was as far smashed over as he fucking possibly could. And it was horrible. I couldn't fit. So I get out. And then, of course, all the network people have to meet with the director. And this is the first 2 of 16 vignettes. Okay, and I've been cast for all of them. I'm supposed to be in all of them. And I also did the first one. They think I'm the greatest because of the fucking the dunk tank. I honestly think if I hadn't been so good at that, they would have just immediately said, sorry, you got to go. Because, I mean, you don't fit. There's nothing we can do. So they have a meeting. And the other actor's just like, dude, there's nothing I can do. I'm as far over as I can be. I go, I get it. Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. It's fucking my fault because they're trying to cram a Volkswagen into a goddamn carnival ride. So they wind up having their discussion. They come over to me and they go, all right, we think we figured this out. You're going to get in one. He's going to get in the other. And then you'll be yelling the football stuff back and forth as the ride goes around, which is even funnier than the 2 of us jammed into one. And I'm like, this is fucking fantastic. So I'm all for it. So they put him in his, and then they have to rotate it, and they go to put me in. I don't even fit in it by myself. I jam myself in it as far as I can, but the bar won't come down. The belt won't fit. And for this bit to work, I have to ride around in it. Like, you have to see me yelling football. Like, they would put cameras on both of them, and then you would see us yelling at one another. And I don't fit in the Salt and Pepper Shakers. And it was so funny because I had established myself at the dunk tank where I was going to be the funny guy, like every week. I knew that because everybody else was just bland. Like, they were just kind of doing it. One of the other guys was funny, and he was the guy they picked to go with me in the Salt and Pepper Shakers. And they were actually going to interchange people. I should mention this. They were going to interchange people every week. They told me that I would work every week because I was fucking hysterical. So it turns out that I didn't fit in the Salt and Pepper Shakers, and I go stand off to the side, and I'm furious. Because I don't know what's going to happen, and they come to me and they say we're really sorry, but we can't use you because this was because they're not going to scrap the whole bit, and if I'm not going to fit in carnival rides, God knows how many other. So they go, look, we can't use you, and I go, you can't use me for this bit, or you can't use me ever again. They go, well, we're going to talk about it. But the dunk tank one is definitely in. We're definitely going to use that. But we're going to have to use somebody else. And already in the background, like they're talking to me, and I can see them putting another actor. And now they're going back to the 2 guys in one. They're filming all that. And the guy's like, look, we love you. We think you're the greatest, but we can't just maneuver every bit around that. It's just not going to work for us. I go, okay, well, but if there's other bits, like I can be used for that. And he's like, yeah. Once we figure that out, we'll definitely get a hold of you. And believe me, I know that's never going to fucking happen. I know that's not going to happen. So I got fired because I was a big fat guy. And then I will say this, the way it turned out was they wound up never using any of them. This is the way networks work. This is the way TV works. They'll film a billion things, and then all of a sudden they'll just scrap them. Like, we can't use those. Like, so they spend at least 2 whole days filming that stuff, and then I don't even know if they did the other bits, but the vignettes. But then when Monday Night Football started, because we filmed in July, Monday Night Football didn't start till September, and I was anxious to see if the dunk tank thing happened because I got paid, everything was fine, and then they used the carnival motif, but they didn't use like the crazy fans at all in any of the vignettes. They just started showing like a carnival, and they'd show like the Bengals and the Whack-A-Mole and the Steelers on balloons, and they would go right to the game. Like they decided it was a great idea, but whatever. So I wound up getting fired, and they never used them. But Jesus Christ, there is no worse. So like when I say I feel bad for the LA Law guy, who's now the piss guy, now I get to be diabetes guy. Well, I was fired for being fat long ago. So what the hell do I feel bad for? It's there's nothing I can be upset about. It doesn't make any sense. But they do that all the time. Like when I filmed on Basketball, there was a scene they filmed with a fake Guns N' Roses band that sang the national anthem. It was Trey Parker was Axl Rose, and they filmed it. They spent an entire day, and I'm talking a 12-hour day. I was on set. They didn't use me because they were filming this Guns N' Roses thing from all these different angles, and they're setting it up, and the makeup was elaborate, and all these costumes, and a fake slash, and they filmed all day. Not in the movie. Not in the fucking movie. I didn't get the DVD to see if it was on the final thing. So, believe me, just because that they film something or they do something doesn't mean they're going to use it. They throw that money away all the fucking time. It's like this podcast. Folks, there are stories I've told. I've told long-ass stories that have gone, 15, 20 minutes in length. I've whacked them. I've just completely cut them out. Because I said, you know what, dude? You're too fat to tell that story. I'm sorry. We're not going to be able to use you.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. And later, whose tits are these?
Ladies and gentlemen, with a phrase from the past of the 40-year-old boy, Mr. Tony Bennett.
I don't care if her vagina has a best side, 'cause I'm going in the front way.
So yeah, I'm in danger of getting fired at any time from this show, folks. I don't know. It's not like I have a boss, but I'm actually, I guess I'm sort of the boss. So I could let myself go. Mike, I'm sorry, we have to let you go. We have to bring in a new host. All right, so why not? I'll do that at some point. But only if I get out of line. Right now I'm fine. I'm flying under the radar. I don't know that I've been stealing office supplies, so I think I'm okay. But eventually I'm going to get on. I'll be on to me, and then fuck it. I will not let the door hit my ass on the way out as I fire myself. Okay. It's funny, getting fired. All right, I did the graveyard thing, as we all know, and I'm bored out of my skull there. I don't have, because I don't have internet, and I read books. Yeah, I like books, but for 8 hours in a room, it's just I wasn't good at real jobs. You know what I mean? And this job, sitting alone in a room, and it's not really a job. I don't know how to explain it, but. Well, that's okay. I may have taken care of that, folks. I might not have to worry about it very much longer.
What?
Because all right, here's what I do. I started walking around. Like I start walking through the hallways, and I call it making the rounds. Like in my head, I've decided I'm going to start making the rounds, like a beat cop. Like, so if someone's got, a fruit stand with an apple, I'll just take it and I pay for it. Whatever they have in the hallway, I'll help myself to it. So what I do is I have a system where I'll ride the elevator up to the third floor and I'll walk around and I'll just start walking down the stairs. Because here's the thing. When I was a kid, I lived in an apartment building not unlike this one. Same way, 3 floors, elevator, but even bigger than the one I work at now, because the elevator at the old one would open into a common area, and then you would have to go through a door to get to the apartments. Well, not this one. There's no common area. It's like the elevator just opens into the hallway. So I've started, when I was a kid, I would play guns in the apartment building. We would have you'd get 10, 15 kids, and we would have, like BB guns, or not even BB guns, just like fake guns, and we would hide in the apartment building. Like you would go up the stairs, and you would be in the foyer, or you'd be running from people and hiding in doorways. It was the greatest feeling in the world. Like I to this day I can conjure it up, and I get excited because folks, I like being sneaky. Okay, I think I've mentioned this. I'm a snooper sometimes. I like being sneaky. There's nothing more I like than laying down in bed and hearing people outside going to work, or if I get to listen to them talking in the courtyard, because I literally in my head I'll be like, I'm a foot away from these people. I'm separated by a foot of plasterboard and wood. They have no idea that I can hear everything that they're doing. It's awesome. I'm just sneaky, and I'm listening to everything they're doing, and they're not doing anything of consequence. I'm not listening to anything that I'm going to be able to use in the future, but yet still I love the idea of being like a sneak. So that said, when I was a kid, we would sneak around and play guns, and you would hide. Just knowing that you were hiding in a place and people were looking for you. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's some sort of psychological bullshit. I'm sure you'll be able to fucking parse it out, call a doctor. Who knows? I love the idea of being somewhere where nobody knows where you are. And they're going about their daily lives, and you're a foot away and they have no idea. So, that said, I've started walking through the hallways because people, they live in their houses, and it's literally I'll have this thing where I'll walk by and I'm like, there's a door. That's a door. They live in that house. I could walk in there right now. They would have no idea that I was in their house. They would, but it's still, so I make myself go up and down the stairs, and I'm being very sneaky, and I'm doing this. It's 2 a.m, so it's crazy quiet, and I don't know why. I just because I'm bored. So I wind up doing it, and I go up the stairs. I do that. So I'm walking around the other day, and it's a building that's self-contained, so all the doors are inside. Nobody walks outside. When you walk out, you walk into a hallway. Well, some people have decorated their doors for Halloween. I don't know why. It makes no sense. No one's going to see it except for other people in the building and me, Sneaky McGee, who's walking around at fucking 3 a.m. So I walk up, and these people have they've decorated their door, and they're at the end of the hallway. Okay, so I would have no reason to go down there other than, I don't know who would see their Halloween decorations. So they have a big Dracula, on their door, a Dracula face. And it's like a plastic Dracula. And I'm like, oh, that's scary or whatever. So I walk down to the Dracula, and again, it's 3 a.m. It's totally quiet. I'm in there, and I walk up to this Dracula, and he's like a Billy Bob Fish Dracula. You know what I mean? So he talks, he says stuff, but you got to push a button to make him talk. So I'm not going to push the button. That's retarded. Why would you do that? So I walk up, and I'm looking at the Dracula, and then I think to myself, I'm like, well, all right, if I push the button though, because why would you put it out there if you didn't want people to push the button? It doesn't make any sense. Granted, they probably didn't think that a sneak was going to come up and do it at 3 a.m, but then I'm like, dude, you can't. This is stupid. Why would you do this? Again, the whole point is to not be noticed and not be seen. But also, there's another point. You want to try to get away with stuff. When I was a little kid, you wanted to get away with stuff. You wanted to be sneaky and do whatever. So you would take people's newspapers and switch them around, or ring their bell and run. You know how you would do that when you were a kid. All right. Well, I'm 40. And I walk up, and there's a Dracula, and I'm looking him. He's eye level. I'm looking right at him. He's covering their people, and I'm like, push the button, dude. Just push the Dracula button. And I'm like, no, you can't. You can't do that. That's stupid. Why would you do that? You would totally get in trouble. No, you're not. Come on. They wouldn't put a Dracula. It's funny. Do it. So literally, I have a devil on one shoulder and then a Dracula on the other shoulder. So there's not even an angel in the discussion. There's no angel who's helping me out here. It's a devil and a Dracula, and the devil's just the devil wants me to actually go in their house. I'm like, dude, seriously, no, that's not happening. But the Dracula's like, come on, push the button. Literally funny. So I'm at the end of the hallway, and so I figure out an escape route. I figure because there's literally, I'm at their apartment door, and then there's stairs not, maybe 6 feet away, and I would have to run, and I would have to open that door, and then I would have to run down the stairs, because again, I'm up on the 3rd floor. So I lean forward, and I look at the Dracula, and I'm actually like, I did this, I got like nose to nose with the Dracula, almost like I was calling him out. Like, I'm like, fuck you, Dracula, what are you going to do to me? Nothing. So I get really close to it, and I push the button on the Dracula. I just reach for it, and I push the button, and it is, let me tell you, it's a lot louder than I thought it was going to be, because it's an empty hallway at 3 a.m, so I'm not taking that into account. It's like my friend Mike Toomey used to do a bit about when you'd be watching TV at 3 a.m, and you'd have the volume down, and then a commercial would come on that was louder than anything you've ever heard in your fucking life. Okay, I pushed the Dracula button, and his eyes like glow, and he's like, "Bah ha ha! You have awoken me from my ancient slumber," and I fucking I couldn't help it. I just went, ha ha! Like, I laughed really hard because it was so much louder than I thought it would be. And then my brain wasn't firing. And then I went, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? So in the panic of Dracula being louder than I thought, I forget all about the escape route. I just run down the fucking hallway. Now, folks, I weigh 340 pounds these days. I sprint at 3 a.m. I sprint down a fucking hall. What are you doing? If I would have hit the stairs and gotten down the stairs, it would have been a totally fine escape route. Nothing would have happened. And Dracula would have an echo in my head, and nobody would have known. Instead, I just fucking sprint running. Go, 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 go. Down the hallway, and I hit the end of the hallway, and stupid me, again, I want to get away, okay, but then I think if I turn the corner and I hit the elevator, they're going to hear the elevator, and they're going to know that I'm there, and, they're going to figure out what the fuck was going on. So instead, I just run as fast as I can, and I turn the corner, and I freeze. I just stop, and I flat back the wall. I just fucking flat back the wall. So now because I will admit, part of me wants to hear what's going to happen. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Dracula's still going, I can hear him. I fucking flat back the wall, and I'm standing there, and then all of a sudden I hear like locks, and I just hear a door open. And it's fucking awesome. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, this is hysterical. Because again, I am right there. Like, if I turn the corner, they will see me. I'll be like, hi, sorry, push the Dracula button. But I'm not copping to that. Fuck all that. So I'm flat backed against the wall, and I'm like kind of sweating because I just ran. And again, let me put it this way. Me running down the hallway louder than Dracula could have ever hoped to be. Because I don't even know who opened the door. So I'm waiting to see if now I'm flat backed in the hallway, and in my head I go, dude, if they walk down here, you're fucked. I mean, because now you're hiding like, you're in Band on the Run in a Paul McCartney song. It's like, dude, get out of here. But now if I get out of here, they're really going to hear me because they opened their goddamn door. Dracula's still going. I hear the door creak open. I'm like, and that was really like a really haunted house. Now I'm like, I'm fucking flat backed, and I'm kind of sweating and nervous. And then I hear a door like creak open, and I hear Dracula, and I'm like, this is awesome. It's like Halloween come to life. But I got to get the fuck out of here. What am I doing, stupid? So I just stay there. And thank God they did not come down the hallway. They just, whoever it was, I don't know, because I don't think it was the Dracula people, because there was no change in Dracula's voice. Does that make sense? Like, if they would have opened their door, it would have gone like more inside their apartment. So I think it was somebody else in the hallway who probably woke up because a fucking herd of elephants stampeded through their goddamn apartment building, and they poked their head out and looked around, and they just realized, oh, it was just Dracula. And then they went to bed. Like, they closed their door and locked it. And I'm just like, and I just told myself I needed to go back to the office. So I go out, I leave. But it was awesome. I mean, it was awesome for a second. Like, I didn't think it was going to be, like, in my head, I'm just like, do it. And then I'm like, dude, don't do it. Come on, you can't do that. And before I even knew it, my hand is up there on the Dracula button. And I'm like, dude, push the Dracula button. Dong, there it goes. Ha, 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 ha. Laughing, eyes glowing, me fucking, ha, ha. Wait, get the fuck out of here. Wait for it. What's the escape route? Run. Boom, 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 boom. Gone. Flat back, scared. All right. So So I'm hoping that people who live there aren't going to, listen to this ever because they would know it was me. So that was bad to do that. I guess my message, don't push the Dracula button, folks. Seriously. Certainly not at 3 a.m. You can't do that at 3 a.m. But I don't care. I loved it. I loved the fucking rush of it. Was so great to be sitting there because part of me then is like, what the fuck am I going to do if this person comes around the corner? I mean, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. That's going to be great. But they didn't, thankfully. So I went back to my office. This is a couple days ago. So that's bad. All right. So I figured that, but again, they don't know, but then they don't know it's me. Those people don't know it's me, which is great. I will tell you that, part of being at this gig is the newspapers come in the morning, and then you take the newspapers and you deliver them to people's apartments. It's a nice thing you do. You don't have to do it. You could leave them downstairs, but it's a nice thing. Come on, if you lived in an apartment building, you open the door and look, there's my newspaper. How great is that? That's nice. So in the morning, I'll take the papers and I'll go and deliver them. But that's boring, folks. It's boring. I'm not going to lie to you. It's terribly boring. Because, again, you're just walking. I'm just walking. That's all I'm doing. Because, again, I'll make the rounds. I told you I'll make the rounds outside, too. I didn't tell you that. I'll go up and I'll walk out by the pool. And everybody, you can look in people's houses. I don't. But, I mean, I'm just saying by the pool, and I just make sure all the doors are locked. And I'm like I'm peeking around corners. I make it scary. It's not scary at all. But I make it fun and scary. So I have to deliver the newspapers. So I'm going to make them fun and scary. Here's what I do. I wind up, because all the papers they're in like a plastic bag, okay, like, to protect them from the rain and stuff. So I have a routine. Like there's 2 apartments that get a paper, and then I got to walk down the hallway, 2 more apartments, and I've learned like fancy ways of throwing the paper. Okay, probably stuff I should have learned when I was 11, but still, I'll make it where I have to I can tell you that I can get from one end of the hallway to the other end of the hallway in 87 steps. I can tell you that. That's how horrible my brain works. That's what I do. So I have to get to these certain apartments, and I'll have the papers in each hand, and then I will make myself throw it. I throw it from my right hand to my left hand, and then go behind the back with the left hand and bang it off their door, and then it's there. I deliver it. And again, this is at 5 a.m, so I probably shouldn't be banging papers off of the doors. But it's not really banging. It's just kind of flip it. And I'll flip it backwards, and I'll try to get it number side up. Like I play games. I do all these things to entertain myself and amuse myself, folks. Because, again, I'm trying to make it fun and scary. So I started. So then I would do this thing where, again, I have to deliver a paper to the end of the hallway. So it's almost like bowling. I will get to the front of the hallway, and I'll throw the paper. Like I'll just whip it as far as I can. And it'll make this weird, like, ninja noise. Because it's in a plastic bag, so it goes like flap, 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 flap. I can't even explain it. It's in a plastic. Throw something in a plastic bag, and you'll hear it like go. I'll sail it down the hallway and try to get it as far as I can. So and then I measure it up, and I'll have in my brain. I'll go, okay, well I got this far yesterday. I got to get farther tomorrow, whatever. So it's again fun and scary. So. I wind up doing that with the papers, and then I complicated. Like I'll try to wall ball them. Like I'll try to bounce it off one wall and get it in front of the person's house. And I also use English. Like I'll try to throw it in the air like a horseshoe and try to bounce it so it comes up and leans on the door. Folks, I am bored out of my fucking skull. Okay, that's what it comes down to. Bored out of my mind. I pushed the Dracula button. How bored? I'm bored. That's how bored I am. So every day I'm learning how to do this with the paper. And again, it's just me, because there's nobody in the fucking hall. It's 5 a.m. Nobody's fucking up. Nobody's doing anything. It's fine. Nobody sees me being stupid, so I can get away with my nonsense, and it's fine. So then I am delivering the papers the other day. So I came upon a new game that's fun. Like I said, I try to throw it all the way down the hallway, but I'm doing it left-handed, and unfortunately I don't have the proper release point with my left hand. So I'll be at the front of the hallway, and I'll throw it, and then I'll accidentally hold it too long, and it'll hit the ceiling. And it'll just come down. And I'm like, oh, dipshit, what are you doing there? You can't do that. So I'm trying to do it left-handed, right-handed. I'm creating challenges for myself. So now there's a new challenge. I have to deliver, I don't want to give the number of the apartment, but okay, where Dracula was on the 3rd floor, on the 2nd floor, I have to deliver a newspaper to the farthest apartment, like basically underneath Dracula. So what I do is I have to walk up to the hallway, and then I turn left, and I'll be cocked and I'll be cocked and loaded. I'll be ready to throw. So when I turn the corner, I just whip the newspaper and just fucking let it fly. and then it flies down the hallway and it tumbles or whatever. Sometimes it hits the doorway. That's not good. It'll hit a wall and make a smacking noise, and then I got to kind of hustle it over there and get downstairs and get out of everybody's way. But again, nobody hears me. It's not a problem. So Monday night, I'm walking around, I'm delivering the papers, and again, it's like 5 in the morning, and again, nobody's, again, completely dead. So I deliver the 3rd floor, and I walk down the stairs, and I come around, and I'm doing the 2nd floor, this apartment, and then I walk around, and I'm fucking cocked and loaded, and I'm ready. And I get to the end of the hallway, and the way I do it is I do it in a James Bond fashion. You know how in the beginning of the James Bond movies, when he would walk into the eye, and then he would go, and he would turn around, and he would look at the camera? That's what I do, is I'll stay locked and loaded, and then I'll go, and I'll turn around and just throw it down the fucking hallway, and it'll bounce down to the other apartment, which is great. And it'll make this noise. It'll be like, you'll hear it. It'll fly. So I come walking down the hallway, and I'm counting the steps, and I'm it's step 68, and I get ready, locked and loaded. And I come to the end of the hallway, and the way it is, I time it so I can step with my left foot, pivot left, and then boom, and just let it go. So I walk up left foot, and in my head I'm like, and I'm walking, and I go left foot, pivot, turn around, boom, throw the newspaper, whap! It hits this woman in the chest. Hits her right in the chest. All I hear, I go left, and I go pivot, and because I hear the, and I just hear smack. And I because again, it's all happening so quickly. I just whip the newspaper, and it blasts this woman in the goddamn chest. I mean, like I threw a ninja star. I literally just fucking killed this woman with the Los Angeles Times. Thank God it wasn't Sunday. It was Monday. If it was Sunday, this woman's dead. If it was Sunday, she's still taking the book review section out of her aorta. I mean, honestly, I don't know what to fucking do. It was the weirdest, because again, I'm like fun and scary and sneaky, but not when that happens. Not when it comes to life, when it really happens. I plant left, I turn around, and and it's so funny. I saw her after I let it go, and it just, in your head, that weird, like, fuck, no! I didn't even get to yell, look out, because again, folks, I got an arm. So I step, I pivot left, boom, no! Smack, like this dry fucking smack. It just hits this woman right in the chest. She had just come out of her apartment. She's heading to work, and I guess I didn't know what to say. I'm just like, I go, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And she's like, she had nothing to say. Like, she didn't know. Literally, come on, 5 in the morning, you get out of the shower, bleary-eyed, you're going to your car, and somebody hit you in the chest with a fucking newspaper. Shot out of a cannon? Not even just like lobbed. I fucking gunned it, man. And again, I'm 6'2". I can fucking throw. Whap! Just whaps her. Like she was a giant fly and I was trying to kill her from a distance. Oh my God, did I blast this woman. And she looks at me like this wide-eyed face, like she doesn't know what to say. And she dropped her purse when it hit her because she was so fucking shocked. And I walk up immediately and I'm grabbing her purse and I'm putting everything. I go, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Like, because I had nothing to say. What do you say? I said I'm sorry, and sorry means nothing at that point because her chest is concave. Literally, it's like silly putty. She's got the headlines on her shirt. So she just looks at me, and I go, I'm sorry. I was delivering. I throw the paper down the hallway. It's like a paper boy. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm really. And as I'm picking stuff and putting up in her purse, and she's standing there just kind of shocked, and she's like, 50. I mean, it's not like she's some young person who would think it was funny, or an old person who died because of the impact. She's right in the wheelhouse enough to go, I'm getting this guy fucking fired. This guy's an asshole. So that happened Monday, and then I went in yesterday, and I didn't hear anything about it. There was no note. I can only hope that she survived the day and didn't collapse from the trauma later. but I guess my when I tell you folks, it was fun and scary. Everything is fun and scary. Fun and scary is great. Until I need to learn where to draw the line. I need to draw the line. Fun and scary are great, but not when you then make that leap into fucking hitting people with newspapers and pushing the Dracula button. You got to avoid all that at all costs. Just go ahead and live your life and go ahead and try to be fun and scary and get that feeling down in your fucking balls where you're like, oh, there's something dangerous could happen here, and don't proceed to make the dangerous thing happen. I think that's sound advice for everybody, right? By all means, I think. Sometimes, folks, you just can't push the Dracula button. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at MySpace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Twitter.com/The40-Year-Old-Boy. You can be my friend at Facebook. I promise not to throw periodicals at you. If you become my friend at Facebook, Facebook.com/The40-Year-Old-Boy. And our friend Lily, you can become her friend at Facebook as well, Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. And you can also go ahead and send her an email if you want. That's Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lili, Lily at burlesque411.com.
Hey, what's happening? It's Mike, host of the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, the show you're listening to right now, unless, of course, I've decided to advertise on other shows, and I don't think that happened. I wanted to tell you guys about the Year One download set, available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. 52 episodes of the 40-Year-Old Boy. It's got all the new artwork and theme music tied in, and it's got my liner notes for every single episode. It's got, I'll tell you about the original music, the titles and running times, ramblings about the episodes themselves. So go ahead and pick up the 40-Year-Old Boy Year One box set at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. The 40-Year-Old Boy Year One. 52 episodes, $25, one brutally funny podcast.
Hey, I got to tell you guys that I will be performing next week, which is October 20th, at a place in Marina Del Rey. I'm just doing a short set in between sets by a Beatles tribute band, I think. What you need to do is go to my Facebook page, and you will see on the front page there on my profile page, there is all the information you need. It's got an Evite, and it gives you, it tells you where the address of the place and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to go into it here because, again, you're not going to write it down from the podcast. So I'll just tell you, hold on, Mike, let me get a pen and find out when you're going to break into Ringo's song. I mean, it should be fun. My friend Eva, my friend Lord Corrette, is a comedian, and his friend Eva, he referred me to her, and she called me, so it's nice of them to put me up. So I'll be doing a set this Tuesday, October 20th, in Marina Del Rey. Again, all the information can be found on my Facebook page, so go ahead and check that out, and come on out, because I can't do the show without a little help from my friends. So please come on out to that show. Stupid. So dumb. But I had to do it. God damn, that's funny to me. Oh, Christ. I'm an idiot, folks. 40-year-old man hit a woman with a newspaper. Okay, so, and also, again, peripheral vision, bolt of cloth. Stop it. All right. What else did I want to tell you? I will tell you folks to go. I received some cool emails from people who have nominated me at podcastawards.com for best comedy podcast, which is really nice of everybody. Thanks. And so I want to tell you folks to go ahead and nominate me, because I demand to be nominated, because I hope to win in a crazy upset so people are just as mad at me as they are at Obama for winning the fucking Nobel Peace Prize. I want everybody to go, that guy fucking won? Are you kidding? How the fuck did that guy win? It's just him talking in a room while his burlesque dancer friend laughs. There's a clown in the living room. How the fuck does he even win this? So I think it'll be hysterical, just because just as mad as people are about Obama winning. And also, and I'll tell you this, people were fucking furious. But what makes me laugh is the internet is ridiculous. All right, earlier I said it's a great invention. It is, but it's also fucking terrible, folks. We can agree on that, because there are people commenting. Again, internet commenters, it's like the Wild West. There's no accountability. And my favorite one was a guy, I actually printed it out. It made me laugh so hard. This was from Nobama 2012. So I think we know where he's coming from. And he posted, most now regard the Nobel Peace Prize as they do the prize one finds in a box of Cracker Jacks. Really? So most people feel that way about the Nobel Peace Prize? Anonymous commenter on the internet who hates Obama? Yeah, I could see where you'd say that. And then he writes, the Earth is officially cooling and Al Gore won the prize. For what? Fantasy? No one I know has any respect for the prize other than the money that comes with it. Well, that's good to know, Obama 2012. Good to know that you're running with a crowd of people who have no respect for the Nobel Peace Prize. And I'll tell you, nothing carries more weight with me than to find out someone who won't use their real name on the internet feels that something is bad. Then I agree. I fall right in line with you, Obama 2012. You know what, Obama, you need to go nominate me for a podcast award at podcastawards.com, Obama 2012. With the clout that you have, with the pull that you show on the internet, you need to get people involved. All of you folks, go ahead, rally behind me, just because I think it'd be hysterical if I won. I'm writing my speech as it is. You know what, I'm just going to show up at the podcast awards with my speech, and I'm going to stop short of the podium and just throw it and hit the person in the chest with it. That's what I'll do, goddammit. So go ahead and nominate me at podcastawards.com for Best Comedy Podcast. I think I should do it, if only to get the winner of the sweep. You know what? The winner of the sweepstakes for the UFC can accompany me to the awards dinner for the Podcast Awards. This is all taking shape. So go nominate me at podcastawards.com. And while you're there, you nominate me for comedy at podcastawards.com. And you can also go ahead and nominate The Velvet Rope with Big James and Chewy under the entertainment category. I would nominate them, the Velvet Rope Podcast. I would actually nominate One Punch, the MMA podcast, under sports. Go ahead and nominate those, folks. I would, you know what? I would nominate What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner, another great show on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. I would nominate that under technology and science, because that's a mystery we're all trying to figure out. What the fuck happened to Kathleen Turner? These guys, they explore it every single week. And also, Ask the Lizard King, I would nominate that under religion and inspiration, because it is certainly inspiring to hear what Jim Morrison has to say from beyond the grave, folks. Let's see, health and fitness, what can we nominate there? Who would win in a fight? Of course, there you go. Who would win in a fight goes in health and fitness. And food and drink, well, there's really only one thing you can nominate for food and drink. The Beverage Podcast. I would spell that GGHGHGHGHGH. That's how I would spell it. You can choose whatever you want to do. I haven't seen a title card. And also, God, we need a political show. Do we have one? You know what? Kankakee Somersault Zipperflu, the Gibberish Podcast. Go ahead and nominate that for political. We are taking down everybody at the Podcast Awards. I can't wait to see the size of my table. It's going to be like at the Emmys when an entire cast of a show sits at one table and you see Tony Soprano having a drink with fucking Michael Imperioli. That's great. Well, now at the Podcast Awards, it's going to be me and Big James and Chewy are going to be sitting there. And the guys from What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner. Well, it's going to be great. So go ahead and nominate all of us right there, podcastawards.com. And also nominate the show under Best Production, too, as well, because I think we all know that when you've got a laptop, a headset, and a stripper, you are going to have a well-produced show. So please nominate us at podcastawards.com. That'd be great. I mean, I am all for it. I think this works out. A sweepstakes winner is on board. Go ahead. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jagoff. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jagoff. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're finished. 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 You're finished.